Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is your captain speaking. Welcome to Flying Solo, the dating reality podcast. I'm your captain, Captain Aaron, and these are my co-hosts, all former contestants on ABC's The Bachelor.
Hello, I'm Lindsay, and I was on Ben Flanick's season of The Bachelor, and he gave me the boot because he did not like my saucy English naughty personality.
Hi, I'm Anne, and I was on Jason Mesnick's season of The Bachelor, the very first single dad ABC ever had, and I got the boot pretty early on because I did not play well with the producers, so I was a producer's boot night one.
And I'm Jesse, winner of Bachelorette Season 4 and retired pro snowboarder. And guess what? I didn't get the boot. I freaking won. It's so good to be back in the cockpit. Let's get this shit started.
For all you new listeners out there, Flying Solo is a dating reality podcast where we get to know local singles and match them up all live on the podcast. Each episode, we feature a single, blindfold them, bring in 3 matches, get to know them all. Then we have the wing ceremony where the featured single will decide which co-pilot they want to take out on a date. And remember, the lead single is blindfolded, so they will have to pick their co-pilot based solely on their personality. First, we have a fan question specifically for you, Jesse. Julie in Scottsdale, and don't shoot the messenger, Anne. Julie in Scottsdale wants to know, did you fornicate with Deanna Pappas on the show while filming? Exactly
what you think happens in the overnights is exactly what happens in the overnights.
So you guys just take naps?
Is there a place to hide from the cameras then?
To each their own. Oh, yeah. The room is mic'd, fully mic'd. There is a mobile camera crew that rolls through and films like the quintessential strawberry feeding deal that you always see, or the toast.
Did you feed strawberries?
And so it was
mind your business, Ann.
Lovemaking then, is what you were saying.
Correct. With plenty of ears listening to what was going on in the room, but no eyes that I'm aware of, at least. I'm unaware of any eyes in there, but I definitely know for a fact that there is full audio in that room because the next day, both of our producers knew exactly what went down.
So Julie and Scottsdale, yes, they did bump uglies whilst filming the show. Okay, so let's get to today's single. I'm excited for this one. We have a former NFL player who played for the New England Patriots and now is highly involved in charity work, which I loved. So this catch was referred to us by Karen Monique, the Chief Love Officer at sparkoffline.com, an exclusive matchmaking agency. So Karen, tell us what you do, tell us how you met Nick, and go and introduce him.
I connect sexy singles 100% offline, without dating apps, without swiping. I eliminate felons, catfish, people with bad intentions, and I eliminate those who are already in relationships trying to get a booty call on a dating app. That doesn't work with sparkoffline.com.
What kind of questions do you ask to eliminate people that have bad intentions?
Well, you know what? I found that people with bad intentions typically are not even attracted to my type of service because they have to pay for my service. So that eliminates them right away.
How sad that it's to the point now where when you interview people, you have to ask, are you married? Are you in a relationship?
How far are you digging into criminal backgrounds? Because could I make the app? Could I not? I don't know what's going on.
Well, someone like yourself, you're probably vetted. You have like a federal clearance.
I do.
So
yes.
I would use that as the way to get you through.
So how did you meet?
I'm out.
So how did you become acquainted with this sexy former NFL player? Woohoo!
Well, as you guys know, I'm an entrepreneur, and that means I know a lot of businesses in Phoenix, Arizona, and I met Mendy Hoffman, who's the former owner, or I should say, she used to have a salon called Velocity Salon in Arcadia. And I'm like, hey, can you help me? I need to find an attractive, sexy, single hunk guy. And she helped me out. She introduced me to Nick.
And here he is. Welcome, Nick.
Welcome, Nick.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us.
Can I make a very small correction?
Yes.
So I'm really proud of the fact that I was cut by and rejected by 8 teams 11 times, and the second one that I actually made it with for a few games with the Patriots, but I actually played 14 years for Kansas City.
I was going to say,
wow.
I see that giant necklace you're wearing.
And 3 with the Jets. So while I am proud that I played with the Patriots, most of my career was in Kansas City.
Sounds like the Starbucks business pitch story. Denied 86,000 times. Now a multi-billion-dollar company.
Do you have a strong opinion on the new relationship going around the internet right now with our Kansas City player?
Yeah, in fact, I got in trouble last week in a good way because I wrote, Travis is one of the best people you'll ever meet. He truly is, Travis Kelce. Really a wonderful, wonderful guy, one of the best players ever. And so there I see him on a Friday night at 10 p.m. watching the World Series, but not in Kansas City, actually at the game in Dallas. The game goes to extra innings, and he actually goes out to a bar in Dallas afterwards, then probably flies home that night, maybe about 3 a.m. So he has to fly home to Kansas City and then leave 5 hours later to fly to Denver to play a game. And then he had, shall we say, not his best game, not a horrible game, but not a great game. And the rest of the team was just terrible, lost to Denver for the first time in 16
This is why
games.
you can't go to Pound Town prior to playing a game.
Well, you know what? You can go to Pound Town, I guess, on Thursday. But to me, Friday, late at night, if it was in town, you go to dinner, you stay up till midnight, whatever. But getting a little bit of sleep on Friday night when you're traveling the next day, and then you're going to Mile High, Denver. So I simply wrote, he's a wonderful man, love him, love the Chiefs, superlative human being. Literally, those are my words. Just not a good example for the younger members of the team. Let it be a lesson. That was picked up by...
He was going Mile High, but it wasn't in Denver.
That was picked up by TMZ, by the Daily Mail, which the British friends of ours, I lived in London for 3 years, my mother was British, know the tabloids tend to want to make sure it's the worst possible thing they can write. So they left out all the superlatives I gave, and it was picked up by Fox News. It was talked about on ESPN. And I stand by what I said. But, Larry says that... Travis Kelce lost the game, which I didn't say, but I just said you're a leader and you got to be aware that what you do has an impact.
So you have to be specific when you post things on the internet. You have to do it in crayon and say no Pound Town before your game.
In crayon.
On your private jet, Mile High.
I try to be a little bit more diplomatic.
You got to narrow it down a little bit.
I don't think
these new schoolers don't understand basic math.
I don't think they're actually a couple. This is my conspiracy theory. I think they're doing all of this for publicity because she was in like Rio de Janeiro or something, and they filmed him waiting just outside the black curtains, which would have been private, to hug her and kiss her. And I'm like, that's a little too obvious.
Well,
Personal
I feel
opinion.
nowadays, if you're going to be a quarterback, you almost have to be a social media star. I mean, Rodgers, Brady, Kelce, look at everything that they go through, all these guys now. You're in the public eye 24/7.
And she's at the top of the heap. Let's face it. Right now, she is incredibly gifted. I think they're at what they call the top of the infatuation phase. And just and it's not their first rodeo. They're 34 years old. So, when they were dating John Mayer when they were 23, it's different because they've been through a lot of the ups and downs and the public embarrassments. So I think they are serious, but I'm not sure it's going to last just because it's really hard to make it work at that level and that level of exposure.
Careers are like good vibrators, dude. The enthusiasm wears off over time.
the batteries die down.
Experience? Do you have one?
I was going to say.
I was talking about your vibrator,
not
man.
Sure about that one. I'll let the ladies,
So Nick, tell us about yourself. Where did you grow up? Where are you from?
I'm very blessed. My mother was in the first full class of women at Oxford. My dad was in the first group of Fulbright scholars, and they both served in World War II. Dad was a reconnaissance pilot in the Third Army, and then he went to Stanford, and my mother was helping run the Fulbright program in London. The idea was to create a way for the best and brightest British to exchange and come over to the United States, and my father was in that first group to go to London, and he was a bit more seasoned than the freckle-faced scholars that were in that group, and they just absolutely fell in love and were married, 8 months later. And my twin brothers were born there and grew up in D.C. My dad was senior CIA. And what I didn't find out till he died 13 years ago is he wasn't just senior CIA when we were living in London when I was 9, 10, 11, or Germany. He was chief of station. So when you watch the Robert Ludlum movies and, Jason Bourne, all those things, my dad was the man in London. And that was told to me by Malia Natilbov, who was the CIA operative, now 86, who led the CIA in Lebanon, in Beirut, way back in the 70s. So it's legit stuff. And so just growing up in D.C. with amazing people in school, Supreme Court Justice Byron White next to me, who happened to lead the NFL in rushing. So there's a role model for you who was a best friend of Bobby Kennedy. And just being told that for all that you were given, you have an obligation to give back. And then struggling to make it in the NFL and played briefly with the Patriots, got a job working in the U.S. Senate for Senator John Chafee of Rhode Island, and then got cut some more times. And I was a kicker, so it's really hard to get used to that unbelievably intense experience of being focused. I call it being naked and alone with 80,000 people.
Well, brother, I'm trying to get you naked and alone right now. We got to introduce you to these women.
Yes.
Who do we got in the room?
Too much.
Okay, let's bring up Kelly. Kelly is the crazy, wild, outspoken tan artist who claims to get bored easily. So can you keep her entertained, Nick? We'll find out. Tell us. Oh, hey, Jesse, she's Sicilian. Did you want to ask her your Sicilian question?
This is pass fail. This is very, very important.
Okay.
Okay, you ready?
I'm ready.
Dinner on Sunday?
Do you have spaghetti and meatballs on Sundays with the family?
So I'm single. So there's not a lot of family right now.
When you were growing up?
I have had a lot of meatballs and spaghetti.
Bingo.
In my life.
I told you, Ann.
She likes
I told
her meatballs.
You. That's right. Sicilians love spaghetti and meatballs. It's a thing. I'm telling you, write it down, take a photo. It's
It
a
is
thing.
It
totally
is
a
a
thing.
thing.
And
Confirmed.
I make
right.
the best meatballs.
We call
Bingo.
them, in New York, we call them meatballs.
Meatballs. Yes,
That's
meatballs.
So tell us about yourself. So you run a tanning business, right?
I do. First of all, hi, Nick. I'm Kelly.
Hi, Kelly.
Nice to meet you, since I'm going to be dating you and not all of them. So that's number one. I have a spray tan company called Sinful Glows, and I've been in business for about 15 years, and I go to people's homes and hotels 24/7.
Is there anybody that you've ever spray tan that was famous?
Lots.
Ooh, spill the tea.
Can you tell us one?
I have spray tanned Miley Cyrus.
Wow.
So I used to live in Vegas, and so everybody that comes in would call, their personal assistants would call in. They'd get spray tanned.
Did Miley come in like a wrecking ball?
She's amazing.
like? Was
She's
she
an
nice?
amazing person.
Awesome.
Yeah, like I've had the best experiences.
Typically, people that do obscene things while they're nude in public are okay in my book.
That's
Just saying.
exactly what I think.
Great. So tell us what you do for fun.
Let's see. I moved to Arizona about 2 years ago, and I've lived all over the U.S. So I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and lived in Chicago, Vail, L.A.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Vail where?
Vail. I lived right in Avon area, and I worked at Beaver Liquors.
I have a T-shirt from Beaver Liquors.
Everybody
I'd
does.
just like to say
Everybody
that.
does.
And we had 2 kids while we lived in Vail.
Really?
Yeah,
yes.
at the Frisco Medical Center.
That's amazing.
Vail's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
Partaking in beaver liquors.
That's right.
Bingo.
Where these kids came from.
Yeah.
Too easy.
So I know that was super. And I've lived in LA, San Diego, Vegas, and so now I'm here. And
Kelly, what's your favorite of all those?
so far, it's here.
Oh, good.
Yes.
What brought you here?
The universe. Big fan of listening to the universe, and when they say go, I'm like, well, okay, let's do this.
What makes Scottsdale?
I think it's the community. I've noticed that all of us entrepreneurs, there's so many of us, and we love to serve, and that's really what I'm interested in. And it's just a really close network. All the places are really unique in themselves: Chicago, LA, San Diego. But for some reason, Scottsdale, it feels definitely, it's a big little city, right? Where everybody kind of knows everybody. And really the entrepreneurship, I do multiple things with my time. So, and for fun, I'm fun. I don't have to look for fun. I'm just fun.
I can confirm that she is fun.
I'm drinking wine at 10 a.m. in case
Woo, my kind of girl.
nobody can see this. I am. Pinot
It's
Grigio.
5 o'clock somewhere.
It is. It always is.
We have been doing this podcast for quite a while, and she's the first person to indulge in wine. I'm like, yes.
Can I have a sip?
Yep, absolutely. give him the one without the lipstick, though, please. Here, you got to help him. You want-
So, Kelly, I heard that you have not had a relationship since you've moved to Arizona. So, Nick, you could be her first relationship in AZ.
Do you spray tan?
I do. Do you spray tan, Nick?
No, I don't. I lie by my pool.
Oh, okay.
There's a first time for everything, Nick.
I don't do an hour. I definitely smart enough to know that more than 30 minutes is probably not good. So I just do a little bit at a time.
Perfect. Yeah, I've been single for a bit, and I'm very selective with who I like to share my energy and time with.
Speaking of that, do you have any hidden talents Nick should know about?
I mean, many.
Ooh.
Get me. Top 2.
Let's see, top 2.
They don't have to be PG. It's okay.
Well, when I give this podcast to my parents, it should be. Hey, Mom and Dad.
Sorry, Mom. Sorry.
Love ya.
I'm not sure if he's asking for you or for me. Or for him.
Both.
You know, I don't know if it's hidden because I'm so vivacious in who I am. So it's pretty much what you see is what you're going to get, except for Nick because he can't see me. But
Hence the question, what are your hidden talents? My man Nick needs to know.
Okay, let's see.
Like you said, you make some mean meatballs.
I am
but
I love cooking. So
Great.
that's one of my things.
Awesome.
I do love to cook, and I can cook everything. A great steak. The salads are phenomenal. My salads are the bomb.
I like to cook. I love it.
Okay, perfect. That's great. I'd love for somebody to cook me. Food.
And meatballs.
Foods.
And Nick, what about your hidden talents?
Mine? Oh, well,
Kicking.
I write a lot of poetry. So if you gave me literally today, if you gave me 4 or 5 words, I'd write a poem right now. I really enjoy that because that's sort of right and left brain and helps to center you spiritually, I think.
Interesting.
In the midst of all the noise today.
Absolutely.
I love to cook. That's the same thing. I was a drummer in a band and still play a little bit here and there. I played with Jesse Coulter. I played in blues bands. I love that. And being a drummer, it's sort of like cooking. You're trying to find a rhythm and a timing and so it's, once again, it may seem crazy, but cooking calms me down, right? You have to have timing to get it just right.
I agree.
And I love that.
Let's talk about phobias. What's your craziest phobia?
That's a great question.
You scared of spiders, snakes,
Absolutely
locked
not.
in a
No,
closet?
I used to have a snake, so absolutely not. I think back in the day I used to be scared of spiders, and then I thought, wait, I'm 5'9". Why would I be scared of that little spider? So
true.
you kind of change your perspective as you gain knowledge in your life. I don't think I'm scared of anything.
I'll be honest. I'm scared to death of my wife. Why do you think I carry this gun for my own protection?
Sort of branch out on that, then phobia's biggest fear in life.
You know, that's a great question as well. I don't really believe in that word. So I'm all about perspective, right? So if something bad happens, it's not bad. It's just like if you're going, you're right. And if you're going down the road and you have to take a detour, there's a reason why, right? Like I don't get upset about those things. Sure.
Well, you seem like a very strong woman who can take anything that the world gives you, whether it's good or bad. You will just take it. What is it? What's that expression? Grab the bull by the horns and ride that bull.
She's drinking at 10 a.m.
A lot of self-healing. That's
There's
for sure.
no fear when Chardonnay is involved. That's right.
Because we know you're a party girl because you're drinking at 10 a.m. What's your go-to karaoke song?
Hit me with your best shot.
Hit me with the best shot.
Bingo.
What's yours, Nick? What's yours? Your go-to karaoke song?
Gosh. I'm not a big karaoke guy.
Nick, this is a test.
I'm not too worried about it. You know what? Desperado. I love that song.
That's a good song. That's a good Seinfeld song.
So do you have any questions for Nick? Nick, do you have any questions for Kelly?
Hand me my phone. Yeah.
So Kelly, just tell me about how would you look at your purpose, your sense of purpose, and how it's evolved, say, 15 years?
Oh, that's a great question. My purpose is I love humans. That is number one. And I love to give my energy to people that need my energy. So as I keep evolving as an empath and as a light worker, I love to share that and change somebody else's life, whether it's the cashier that I meet, the person down the road that I hug randomly, which, yes, I absolutely have done that in my life. So that is for sure. And then also receiving the energy back, right? So being a giver is amazing, but then sometimes you have to refill your tank if no one's giving it back. So I think when you teach people to give, then they learn that, and then they start giving, and, it's a big circle of life.
Beautiful.
Oh, I have a question. I
Like it. Get us.
I've got a question.
We're all ears.
Where are you from originally?
Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
A?
I say bag. So like when someone, can I have a bag? And they're like, what did you say? I'm like, a bag. Give me a bag. Okay.
I always just go Laverne and Shirley every time I walk.
Or the Fonz.
Yep.
Okay, Nick. If you could choose any city in the world for a dream date, where would it be and what would we be doing?
Good question.
I would have said San Francisco maybe 15 years ago.
Also a test, Nick. Also a test.
And I love New Orleans, but I would say Positano, Italy, and the Amalfi Coast.
Done.
This would be the perfect place.
That's amazing.
Sounds beautiful.
Va bene.
I have one more question. Is there something you've mastered or a talent you have that would surprise people?
I feel like dude can ride a unicycle. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing it out there.
I'm going to go with no unicycle. But, to me, the talent I love is I do a lot of work with the homeless. I have a program called Champions for the Homeless.
Love that.
And I call it a talent. I think God gives us all unique, and I am spiritual, and I do believe in God. I do believe that, we're given unique gifts. Like everybody here is unique. And finding that as our own journey, and then finding a way to contribute that, as you talked about, to help others find their own purpose through knowing what their gifts are. And so to me, we are wired with brain chemistry. Once we've aligned those things, it turns what is if you will, a dirt path into a super highway. And so I find really beautiful connection with the homeless folks at St. Vincent de Paul that are going through hell, and looking them in the eye, letting them know in brief moments that we're together that they matter. And that fills me up.
Love it.
Big time.
Well, thank you so much, Kelly.
Thank you.
Love it.
Thank you.
Let's bring back Carly, the international spontaneous glamour girl who is looking for someone to wine her and dine her in Italy, perhaps.
Hey, welcome, Carly.
Hey guys.
I love that dress.
Thank you so much. I'm glad my intro changed from the last few times.
So tell us about yourself for Nick so we can get to know you.
I feel like that's such a loaded question, but first of all, I'm glad that you played for the Chiefs and not the Patriots because I'm from Philly, so I'm a big Eagles fan. So
I apologize for what we're going to do to you guys Monday night.
I was going to ask you if you were going to the
Good
game.
Lord.
I am.
Well, we'll see. We never know what's going to happen.
Philly-
Eagles
Philly-
are number one in the whole league right now.
Philly and the Chiefs are the two best teams.
It really is. And it's a
Absolutely.
good matchup. Honestly, I feel like it's not like the Eagles versus the Cowboys or Patriots. It's not that hate. So,
Yeah.
yeah. It's gonna
And
be a
Jason
good game.
Kelsey, right? He's awesome.
Oh, yeah. We love him. And we love Andy Reid on the Chiefs. So,
And and the thing about Philly fans is they know everything. You guys, you probably know what blood type.
right.
Each
We
player
are
is.
very, very passionate. And I miss that about Philly. So I moved here about 2.5 years ago. I lived in Philly my whole life. And I definitely miss the sports culture, just going to the grocery store or Wawa. I don't know if you guys ever been to a Wawa or know what that is, but
No.
I was flying last week, and the driver picked us up from the airport on the way to the hotel, and he said, "Do you want to stop at the Wawa? Do you need anything?" And I was like, "Excuse me, what is the Wawa?"
Wawa.
So he drove past, and he explained to us, and I got to see a Wawa.
nice. Well, good for you. You're the lucky one. But yeah, I just miss the game culture on Sundays, going to the grocery store, everyone saying go Eagles, go Birds. So that's really cool how you play it in the NFL.
In Ohio, we just say OH. And then the other guy says IO. It's a thing.
So, Carly, what is your most annoying habit?
My most,
Dig deep.
Oh, that's
Deep.
real deep. You have to give me a second on that, but I definitely have a few annoying habits.
I love to hear what it is that you need to work on, right? Just the things
Yeah.
that you go, hey, I want to 5 years from now that not be a big issue for me.
I'm just over here trying to keep my
It's like a
belt buckle from
therapy
wearing a
session
hole in my
right now.
stomach. You know what I mean? Goals.
Well, I would say relationship wise, what I realize I need to work on is when to end the relationship and say goodbye before I end up hating the person.
Ooh.
So I realized
Hey, that was pretty deep.
You're a fixer. You like to
So-
stick with it.
I'm a ride or die girl. So yeah, I'm
So,
committed.
Carly, what about communication? So, obviously, that means that there have been things not communicated until you feel like you really need to get out and you waited too long. So,
I think
talk to me about communication.
Looking back at past relationships, communication could have been a factor, such as expectations in the relationship or when are we going to see each other. But honestly, I feel like communication is one of my strong points. And and how I communicate verbally, written communication. I feel like that's also huge of like texting or when to know how to communicate, texting, voice note, voicemail, FaceTime, etc. And also to like when to respect people's time with communicating.
If you're trying to go to church, he's trying to hit the crack pipe, maybe you should pray about some things.
Just talk about this. Can you pick a time?
So,
Yeah.
Nick, are you a texter, caller? How's your
So
communication?
I've got a good question, which is something that is important to me. So you have a dinner date, Carly, and it's 6 p.m. And at 5:30, you realize you can't make it for whatever reason. Do you call them?
Always call.
Always call them.
Yeah. I call guys when I'm going to be like 5 minutes late sometimes.
So that's some
And guys
that's some
are always
class.
so surprised. Or like you can tell they answer the phone like all scared. So they think I'm going to cancel or they're just surprised that I called. But I also like hearing someone's voice. I always like calling or FaceTiming.
Yeah, when you
before
text when
deciding
you're
on it.
canceling, an hour before, I think that's not showing a lot of empathy.
Can't display a lot of emotion over a text either,
Exactly. Yeah. I was just going through a small argument, not an argument, but one of my close friends out here, she's from Philly too, but we met out here and we were texting and she replied back and kind of like started to get, like argumentative. So I replied back with a voice note just saying, tone of voice in a text message, you never know how it's going to come off. So I just want to
true.
send you a voice note.
We actually have a rule in my house. We don't text anything important anymore because you lose all feeling and emotion.
It's
in
kind of
text.
a Murphy's Law, right?
Yeah. You got to pick up the phone, hear the inflection in your voice. If it's an important thing, it could be anything. It could be kids, it could be finance, it could be whatever it is. You got to pick up the phone and have that conversation.
The chances of a misinterpreted thing with any kind of emotional importance is about, 97%?
Very high with text. I agree.
100% for sure.
So, Nick, we didn't ask you, or you didn't answer the question. What is your most annoying habit?
Also a test, Nick.
Yeah, well, I think I'm working on my patience. I think that's really important. And I think also I can be a good listener, but I think you can always be a better listener. That's so important.
I don't disagree with that. That's fair.
I think being able to listen and, of course, you're listening not just to words, tone of voice, but looking deeper.
It's hard to listen.
For sure.
And you know what? As a kicker, you're running on the field. It's very intense. So learning to separate out when to be focused, right, perfectionistic, and also when to go with the flow. That's why I love poetry and music, because they get you into that other flow state.
I feel like there's seasons in life too. I was a very different human being when I was on television than I was as a dad.
God, yeah.
That I am now becoming a middle-aged man.
Right, all growth.
Yeah.
I was a different person riding the Hot Mess Express train in Old Town Scottsdale.
Yeah.
Choo-choo.
Yeah. Heck yeah. I do think that we implement a new rule in here, though. I like this drinking at 10 a.m.
I do.
I
Yeah.
didn't know that was an option.
Yeah, me neither until today. But we're
I
going to
could
start
work
drinking in
something
here.
out. I represent a tequila company, El Bandito Yankee Tequila, and I would be happy to donate a bottle or two of our tequila, which has won all the awards, the double blind awards. And that way everybody does a shot
Oh,
before
yes.
the show starts.
I
Perfect.
love
So
that
let's wrap
idea.
this show up. Everybody meet at Nick's tailgate. We'll get some
Right.
tequila.
We can work that out.
Yeah.
So
It's
I'm
really
curious,
good.
since retiring, you've talked about your many charities and whatnot. Since retiring from the NFL, what have you done? I mean, to keep busy, income.
So I went to Harvard to the Kennedy School of Government for 2.5 years, developed a leadership program for Native youth that didn't have for 20 years. It's like a 3-4 day leadership program. And then I've done something called Native Vision 4 years before that, which is a sports and life skills camp, getting Olympic gold medalists and professional athletes from the NFL, et cetera. And then now I represent an AI company that catches human traffickers and fentanyl traffickers called Massive Blue. Another one that's called Alzheimer's Treatment Centers, and my tequila company. And then I've been working with Copa Health as their brand ambassador, which is a mental health thing. Because here's a good stat for you. Of about 5 million people in Maricopa last year, 231,000 applied for mental health benefits, therapy for anxiety and depression. That's a lot of people.
Yeah. So
I got
involved in philanthropy.
I got a stat. We got like 10 minutes left. We gotta ask our last and final questions to the ladies. Nick, these ladies, they got you on the clock, buddy. You got like 10 minutes. You got 2 ladies. Think about having dinner with mom. What would you ask them? What would mom ask them? Think of the important stuff. Find out now.
Carly, did you have any questions for Nick that you wanted to ask?
Yeah.
I do. So my fun question was if you're going to the game on Monday. So I don't think you answered that.
I am. And,
said he was, yeah.
And I'm bringing a guy named, this is showing my age, Russell Hitchcock, lead singer for Air Supply, who's a big Chiefs fan.
Oh, fun.
very cool.
Nice. And
He's an Aussie.
Some down under.
Exactly.
My other question was, so you sound very busy. So what's your schedule like? Like, when do you make time for your loved ones?
When are you going to squeeze Carly in?
Keyword was squeeze, buddy, in case you weren't paying attention.
I love my life and the things I get to do, but I always take time, sit by the pool, write poetry, and always have dinner at night with friends, have good conversation, travel, drive up to Sedona. My friend has a log cabin that Elvis once stayed at.
Oh.
And then I'm really blessed with some great friends, and that to me is everything. So making sure to have time on weekends and at night.
Nick, I'm just going to throw this out there, man. You have probably the most relaxing voice I've ever heard in my freaking lifetime. And I think that you should charge $99 an hour just to calm people down.
Right.
When I get pissed off, I'm going to call you. I'll Venmo you $99. You can tell me about poetry and
poetry
the
by
philanthropy. I'm going to drink a beer and lay in a hammock and calm the fuck down and then move along with my day. So thank you for being you, buddy.
Nice for saying that. I really appreciate it. I would never have expected you to say
You know what I love about this guy too is he's obviously very successful and he does a lot of good. He's very philanthropic, but he also knows how to have a good time, it seems. Like you also like to drink, have a glass of wine.
Carly, have you been to Handlebar J's?
No, I have not. But
That's
do I
the
need to
best.
go?
Is that a human?
That is the best country bar in America.
Okay.
It's unbelievable.
Where's it at?
Country?
It's right at the corner of Shea
and Scottsdale.
Oh, it's here.
Scottsdale.
I've been there. It's great.
I am not
My
a
buddy
country
Ray
girl. though.
Herndon, the Herndon Brothers Band, he's written for Travels with Lyle Lovett and wrote the first Kenny Chesney #1 hit.
I have
They
to
are
ask.
unbelievable.
Do they have a rooftop bar there? I'm just curious. I'm learning so much about the bars in Scottsdale doing this
rooftop.
podcast.
There's
You have no
rooftop
idea.
there, but they have an outside and inside, and it's just really cool. I love that place. So there's music.
So it's
and
your favorite
little
place in
dancing.
Scottsdale then?
I would say it's one of them. Yeah, I like the Haida Gainey Ranch. They got some great music there. If you've ever been there, that's beautifully landscaped.
No, I've not been there.
What is your favorite place, Carly?
That's a good question. To go out or
To go out for a drink. If you
Okay,
you
so
and Nick were to go on a
my
date.
perfect night. I love this. I need to do this with my girls again soon. So what we do is we go to Mastro City Hall.
Nick, take notes, buddy.
It's such a fun night. So it just doesn't end there. So we go to Mastro City Hall in the bar area. They have like the live music, good crowd, good energy. And then we'll go to Toca Madera, the bar area, for like 1 or 2 drinks. And then we'll end the night at the W. So that's
The W is no joke.
Yeah.
The W,
That rooftop
they
bar.
have a rooftop. Holy
bar
crap.
tab. Just rack up.
Holy bar tab.
My wife took me there for my 40th and got me. I literally had to sleep in the shower. It was one of those nights.
Atoka?
Bro, at the W.
W.
We say the W. It was mind blowing. I felt like the dirty old man at that pool. Literally, everyone there was half
We
my
are
age.
the dirty old men.
That's
now.
fair. It's fair. All right, it's fair.
Well, Nick, have you decided who you're going to choose as your co-pilot?
Recap for him.
Okay, so we have Kelly, the crazy wild tan artist who speaks her mind and takes the bulls by the horn and can handle anything that life throws her way. We have Carly, the international glamour girl who loves sports and is a Philly Eagles fan.
Where's your head at, Nick?
So I'd love to take you both out.
Threesome.
I like this guy's style. I mean, he's the first guy to think of this. Oh, there's 3 of you. Well, you know what?
Why are we
I'm in the
limiting
mood for
ourselves?
all 3 of you today. So
Actually,
come
cool.
with me.
Well, actually, they're just 2, right?
Yeah, that's
Correct.
just- the third one
Yeah.
canceled last minute without 5 minutes notice.
Dude is a class act. I like
calling
this.
her out right now on
Did
this
the third
podcast.
one text?
You know,
She texted yes.
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 Deal breaker. So you didn't want her anyway.
You're better off.
he says I choose both.
Well, I mean, you both sound awesome, and what I like also is you're both very different, right? But I think that I'll choose Kelly just because I had to make a choice. But you guys are great, and I mean, how do I know anyway, right? But and of course, How do you know in 5-10 minutes? Can I just say something too?
100%.
I'm totally against first impressions. I think first impressions are of value. But if you ever read Blink by Malcolm Gladwell, we've taken a tremendous amount of information. But guess what? Just because somebody's on their best behavior the first time doesn't mean...
Very true.
So I love giving people second chances too. And we all are here to grow. My hero growing up was a 94-year-old professor at Dartmouth. And I walked with him afterwards. He goes, how'd I do? What'd I do wrong? And I thought, that's how I want to be. I want to be teaching college when I'm 94, still trying to learn. Still trying to grow.
I'm telling you, there's a future in you calming people down on the phone. I'd pay big bucks to hear your voice during the day.
Kelly, do you accept his wings?
I do accept his wings.
Woo, congratulations.
And Carly,
Nice.
you sound awesome. So, it's just kind of a weird situation.
Honestly, I thought
You can demask now.
You can
Take a look
demask
at
and take your headphones off,
co-pilot.
Nick.
Woo! Congratulations, Nick and Kelly.
By the way,
Tune in next week to check out our next set of singles who are looking to mingle. And if you want to be featured on the
Nice to
show
meet you.
or are interested in any of our contestants on the show, visit flyingsoloaz.com and follow us on the socials, Flying Solo AZ. And if you're interested in Nick or are interested in meeting other singles from Spark Offline, go to sparkoffline.com. Thanks for flying with us.
Yay.
We are clear to land.
Thank
Bingo.
you.